Cascade, a school rich with success and proud of its history. For generations, the school and its community have been bonded by the bridge of athletics. However, Cascade's glorifying reign is bound to halt. Why, you may ask? Is a school as strong as Cascade inevitably going to experience a setback in achievement? The answer is actually quite simple: 5A. Beginning in the 2018-2019 school year, Cascade will be recognized by OSAA as a 5A school as opposed to its former 4A classification that has stood for years. This jump to 5A puts the high school in a division of schools with a student population of 700 to 1,200, a broad range that Cascade's student population fails to fall into. Furthermore, the jump will result in a heavy increase of competition among athletics and the arts, inevitably affecting not only the potential success of the school and its programs, but the deeper roots of Cascade and its community as a whole. We consulted some experts and gathered their predictions on the effects of this transition. All right, so we are here with Cascade's athletic director. Thank you for agreeing to do this interview with us. So we're going to ask her a few questions. So first question, would you agree with the statement that our community tends to be a sports-based community?
Definitely. We have a unique situation because we have all these small communities that feed into the high school and the junior high. So we are like the community, and athletics bring us all together, both the junior high and high school level.
Next year we'll be moving up to a 5A division, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And what are your thoughts on this? Do you think we're ready to be a 5A school currently?
The one thing about our kids is they peak at when they should at the end of the season. But if you compare just sizes of the populations in the league we're moving into and the population here at Cascade, it's significantly less. I think our kids will compete just like they have in the 4A. We're used to in our single sports, our individual sports being in regional special districts, and in this league we're moving into, everything is within the Mid-Willamette Conference, which will be a huge change for us. I guess one positive is we will have very little travel because the schools are all right in the pocket of the Willamette Valley, which is also a negative because sometimes those bus trips are a lot of fun and a chance for a team to bond. I am a little concerned about losing kids from our school because last year over 100 of our kids in this school were transfers in. And I have seen it in other communities, Madras, for example, when they went 5A, and in Prineville, Crook County, when they went 5A a few years ago, their populations dropped and their programs suffered. Crook County is also going up with us to the 5A, and they've already started losing population, not just from their high school, but from all their schools. Current numbers actually are 4A size, but they're using last year's numbers to place us. So it's kind of a weird system. The numbers are already outdated they're using, but we don't have this year's school numbers yet. We won't till June, so that's why. But if we continue to be below that threshold, we will petition December of 18 to go back to 4A for the 2019-20 school year.
All right, so we are here with head football coach Bennett. Thank you for doing this with us.
No problem.
So coach, how do you see the move to 5A? How do you see that affecting our school, your team specifically, and the community of Cascade?
Well, first off, with the school, I think it's going to affect us because we're moving up into a division where schools are as big as 2 times our school population. So I think with that, they're going to have a larger number of kids that are going to be able to come out and compete that we don't have. So I think with that, our community is based around athletics, and it kind of has been for, I think, as long as the school's been around. That's been a pride of our community. So if our teams are not being able to compete at a high level, I think that will impact them. With football, I think we will be okay. The big difference will be the number of kids. We have about 48 kids out, where these teams are 100 have at least 100 kids out. So I think that'll be tough for our program to be able to compete against those type of numbers, along with the size difference. When you have another 600 kids, you can pick from 300 more kids to get out for your sport, along with the kids' physical size is normally a little bit different in bigger towns. And then the last part was
How do you see it affecting our community?
we talked about community program, school.
Yeah.
I think school morale, in my opinion, sports are kind of what build on the morale of the school. When teams are doing well, kids want to go out and support and be a part of those activities. And I see you guys cheering at volleyball games and basketball games and football, and that brings that whole community piece and the school piece together. And I think that if you're not winning, why do kids want to be a part of that? So.
All right, so we are here with Mr. Stevens, and Mr. Stevens is our Body D instructor along with the varsity girls basketball coach. So, Mr. Stevens, how do you see the future move to 5A? How do you see that affecting our school, your team specifically, and the overall community of Cascade?
But right now I'm very discouraged with the move. This is what happens when organizations go strictly by the policy. Our numbers this year, our numbers next year are 30 to 40 to 50 students below the 5A level, but OSA seems to be just, they have to use the 2016 numbers, and those did, I think, put us over close to the 5A, so we're in 5As next year. You know, affecting our school, the school climate. I mean, I think when teams are successful on the field, I think it encourages the climate. Kids participate, kids come and watch. It's talked about a little bit more in a positive light. So I think in that's kind of how it will affect the school. I feel also that this is kind of a perfect storm. My team in particular, but I think generally speaking in the school, we're kind of going down a little bit in our numbers and maybe the skill set of our kids. So that first year in, not only competing against schools that are considerably bigger than us, but our skill set may not be where it normally is. In terms of my team, in a normal year, we would probably transition relatively well. A lot of these schools, the same schools, are playing summer league, but I have 8 seniors on this year's team. I think varsity football has a considerable amount of seniors also. So we were going to take a little knockdown regardless of what level we're at. Now we're going up to the 5As, and not only in the 5As, we're in the toughest 5A league in the state. Nobody's going to argue that. This league will have somebody in the semifinals of every sport from fall to spring. So that first year will be, you know, a little challenging. And if you're a competitive individual, I guess the coaches are going to have to practice what we preach in terms of, you know, we're building character and we're going to work through adversity and become better people and just compete the best we can. I think that we'll get better and better. And rumor on the street is that we may only be at the 5As for a year or possibly two years. Okay, in terms of the community, something that just shocked me when I first got here was that we had so many people coming to our games. I mean, I was kind of expecting to turn around and see, you know, 23 parents, and that was about it. Our community, if we're winning, if you're having a winning record, our community is exceptionally good at supporting our programs. I have gone up to Gladstone, and we have had more people in the stands than the Gladstone fans. If you look at our stadium, student body is a little sketchy sometimes. But the community, we have lots of people. Our community love our sports. We have for a long time taken a lot of pride in our sports out here. And so I don't, you know, obviously, I don't want to be mean, but you know, if you're not doing well, the interest level in the community to come out and support and watch kind of dwindles. It's just part of reality. You'll have mom and dad up there still. But the other people, aunts, the uncles, the neighbors, may not come out quite as much. So overall, a little discouraged. We'll battle through it, and hopefully OSA gets their feces together and puts us at the level we're supposed to be.
This is a graph of the Mid-Willamette Valley Conference, which is the new conference that Cascade will be put into once they enter the 5A level. As you can see on this chart that Ryan made, the teams in our new conference are up to twice the population of Cascade. And this is with the adjusted numbers. So the actual numbers are actually greater for all the schools, but the adjusted numbers are made by however many kids are in the free or reduced lunch program. Anyway, these numbers prove that Cascade is going to be with a reduced population, which will correlate to our dominance in sports and other extracurricular activities that we do. And it'll change a lot more than just...
At our school, 51% of our boys participate in some form of athletics, and 49% of our girls.
Statistically, athletes' grades are higher during their sports season.
Year in and year out, Cascade Athletics have teams that are among the top ranks for highest GPAs in the entire state.
Sports like football, volleyball, girls soccer, and boys and girls basketball continuously receive awards for high academics.
With a move to 5A, we could see a drop in participation in certain sports. This deterrence won't only cause our athletics to take a hit, it'll also cause people's GPAs to take a hit, as it is proven that during sports seasons, people's GPAs are higher than when they are not in an active sport.
Obviously, with this move to 5A, we can expect to see a lot more than just our sports affected. We can expect to see potential drop in GPA among what was once athletes who are no longer participating due to the increased competition. We can also expect to see a decline in community support overall, because sports are definitely a big aspect of our school. Given the fact that we lack a central community, sports are really something that does bring us together.
Include OSAA.com, The Statesman Journal, Max Preps, Heidi Hermanson, Brandon Bennett, Mark Stevens, and Jeremy McDonald.